Hi guys, Dr. Mitchell again. So continuing on from our previous video, we're going to be looking at how we can create objects today in our video objects instances of classes. So we're going to determine the behavior of the code this time, so what we're actually able to do with the objects after we define them. So what are we going to learn? We're going to still kind of focus on the relationship between the class and an object and look more in detail about how an object is a specific instance of a class, how I can use a class to, as a blueprint to define the attributes and behaviors of my object. Only this time, we're going to actually create some objects and see how they can behave in my program. So, previously, we defined a person. We had the name, age, and is adult attributes for my person object. And I had a behavior of increase age to increase their age when they have a birthday in my program. So we're going to create a new example in a moment. Now looking at this was the program, just to remind you. So I have my instance variables, private string name, private int age, private boolean is adult to represent those values that I had before. I have my constructor, public person, and then my parameter string name and so forth. So that way I can set values for those attributes. And then I have my behavior increase age that will increase the age by 1 when they have a birthday. Notice though, that there is no output in my console window because I have not actually created a person yet and I haven't used any of the behaviors. So we're going to look at how we can do that. So let's try defining a dog. What kind of attributes would a dog have? And what kind of behaviors would a dog object have? For the purpose of this, let's just focus on thinking of one behavior that the dog could have. So for the purpose of this program, I'm going to focus on creating a name for my dog. I'm going to establish the breed. I'm going to specify the breed for that dog. And I'm going to specify the age of that dog. Those are the attributes that I'm going to use to specify different features or characteristics of my dog object. And then a behavior that the dog object will have, the most common one that we can think of, making him bark. So when I go to translate this into a class to create my blueprint for what a dog is, then I'm going to create my instance variables, private string name, since name is going to be of a string data type. Breed is also going to be a string data type because it's text. So I'm going to say private string breed there. And then again, age is a whole number, so I'm going to create a private int age variable for that attribute, and it's also going to be private. Then my constructor, public dog, and then I'm going to initialize those values for those attributes. So that way my dog ends up with a name, a breed, and an age when I go to create it. And then my behavior is bark. So when I have my dog bark, I'm going to print out woof, so that way I can see that my dog can bark. So when I go to create my dog object, notice here I've created a different class, right? This time I've named it dog tester instead of dog. My public class dog represented the actual dog. My dog tester is going to be where I actually create my dog object and use it. So that is also where I'm going to have my main method, which is my point of execution in my program, so that things will actually output to my console window. So you'll see I have dog Grace dog equals new dog, and I've initialized or passed the values Grace, lab, and 1. So I have created a dog object named Grace dog with the name Grace, the breed lab, and the age of 1. So now Grace exists. Then when I call gracedog.bark, I'm going to make my dog bark. And look at that. Grace dog barks and I see woof on my console. So what should we take away from that? We can see now that when I not only establish what my object is going to be and the attributes and behaviors of that object using a class, but I can now turn around and create an object based off of that blueprint and make it do things. I can establish values for those attributes and use those behaviors in my program so that way my object or my dog can now bark, or depending on whatever objects you come up with, they are able to do their behaviors as well. So thank you and see you again next time.